Hi, it's Rosie at RoseByNameCo. I've come back again to show you a little bit papers that I use to coffee dye or tea stain, just in a way to show you what kind of papers I might be using. And in generally, anyone who does junk journals or some kind of crafting, they're using a variety of papers. And I just happen to have a whole stack here, and so I wanted to show you a little bit where I might find paper and what kind I might be using and what I might be using it for. So let me start with, of course, we all like to use, or most economically, we use the copy paper. So this is a piece of copy paper that I happen to tea stain. However, as you can see, there's some darker spots of color and some different colors that have come into this as well. This is because when I sometimes have a book page or magazine page with some colorful picture on it, then possibly that color might bleed, and then, well, it's just as well, because then it gives me these beautiful impressions on my copy paper or any white paper that I might have in the tray. So this one is a little bit yellowish here and a little bit of the blue here as well. I mean, I could be using this in a sea-themed journal or any nature journal. So really, when you fold it over, it's just a beautiful design on it. And it even has the line maybe from the previous paper that was on top of it. And this is what it looks like in the back. So this is the copy paper. Then, of course, we all like envelopes. So any envelopes that come in the mail, I have to say, stop, please. Do not destroy the envelope. I do need it. I can use it any which way I can, especially these with see-through, with the plastic window envelopes. And I like it because, well, it gives you a vintage look after you coffee dye it or tea dye it. I do use some just plain paper or envelopes that I haven't coffee dyed, and they're nice and flat, and I just ink it up a little bit. But for the most part, I do like it a little bit more wrinkly like this. And also, if you can see here, the coffee soaks into the edges and gives it an even more vintage look, and therefore I don't really have to ink it anymore afterwards. So I would just put something in here and use it as a pocket in my journal or on top of a tag, or just if I'm storing something in it that I can easily see what's inside. So window envelopes. This is another piece of copy paper. Now this one turned out even more design. It's almost like a marbly design on this. I'm not sure. I wish I could tell you the real secret how to get this, but for the most part, it's leaving the paper in the tray for longer than 5 minutes, more like an hour or two, or even overnight. And I will show you later on what happens when you forget about your tray and it's been in there for days or a week. And this one here, also the like almost like sediment or rock depository here or something, rock formations, very beautiful. So I'll be using this sparingly, maybe pieces at a time in my tags or journaling cards. So that's also copy paper. This as well as copy paper, but this was used obviously as a sketch pad for kids to draw something. I'm not sure, I might have drawn that. I don't know. Maybe my grandkids or somebody anyway scribbled on it, and also did some pictures in the back. Look at this. Isn't this precious? Anyways, I'll be using this as well. So I can make, I will not use maybe the whole picture per se because it's not the greatest horse, but I will use pieces of it just for some kind of detail or interest, or I'll use a little bit of this and so on my tags or somewhere. So don't throw out your kids' scribblings. You could use them. Whatever I find, I will put it into my tray and think to myself, I can use that at some point. So this is another one of these. They're just beautiful. I had a whole tray full that turned out this way. Also very beautiful in the back. So anytime that's happening, that is good. So I'll be using this for sure. I have a few of them in that color and design. Now, book pages, of course, they are a little bit firmer, a little bit more heft to them than the copy paper. And sometimes they have beautiful font on it, like this one that I can use. I can use the Wonders word, or I can use book, or I can use whatever I would like. And then on the back also, it happens to have different types of fonts. So I might use maybe something separate, or I might just use the whole page in a journal. So this is good. So book pages, they coffee stain very well, and just the depth of this, you can see the wrinkle in it is just beautiful, and that's well, of course, what gets us so excited. Now this one, sometimes you get book pages that are completely blank, and it's perfect for your journal because, well, now you have all this to journal on, and it's beautifully aged. And on the back, you might have some writing. You might want to keep that, and also in that case, if you fold that in half, you can still journal beside it or put a picture on it, and so on. Now, anytime I have some a few pages left over in a notebook or something, I will keep that, and then I will use that in my coffee or tea staining or any kind of eco staining. So this was a little bit longer pad, but narrow. I really like this because something like this I can just put on a side of a page for a journal, or on a tag, or I like lines, so I like to put lines on my tags as well, and so on. So I like this one because it's narrow. It comes like this. Sometimes I buy the full package if I really like it and it's at a good price. So this is a little bit longer notebook that I found, and I use this all the time. Now another envelope here, but this is just a regular envelope, and this has been coffee stain, and then I also dropped some darker coffee or stain on it, and it gave me these beautiful drops, and as well as this previously as it was sitting in a tray. And then sometimes as it does sit in the water, it might actually dissolve the glue, and then you get this beautiful page, which is all made for you to journal on lots of different spaces, but still fits folded inside your 9x6 journal like this. Of course, you can always either sew it or you can glue it back together and use it as a pocket as well. So any envelopes of any size or shape that I have, I will use that as well. Now this one here is a bit of a cardstock, and this is the one that was left in a tray along with a couple of other pieces, where my tray was put out of the way by somebody. I don't recall if I did it. I don't think I did, because I'm still always trying to keep an eye on these papers. And well, it got put out of the way, and I forgot about it. And I went a week later, I believe, and said, oh my goodness, where is my tray? I believe I still had some papers in it. What's happened to it? Well, the water all evaporated, and the paper got really dark. As you can see, it took on a lot of coffee, and it got stuck to the bottom of the tray. So I had to peel it off. You can see here. However, the colors are just beautiful for anything a darker journal or a grungy journal. I'll be using probably, maybe not the whole thing as a page, but I'll be using bits and pieces of it where I need it, with the different dark beige here and the very dark coffee brown on the back. So here as well, you can see where it was also stuck. So it gave me these beautiful, very grungy, very rusty looking designs, and I'll try to use that on tags or somewhere. So this is a little bit of a cardstock, as I said, so it is a little bit firmer. So I will see how I will use that yet, and but I certainly hope to use it. Then sometimes I will write out some words I want to use, like woodsy, cozy, walking, you know, trees, walk in the woods, or stroll in the woods. Forever blue, I used that on that blue jean cover that I had for sale. Then I have colors here, wilderness, and so on. So I do my titles and what might possibly pertain to the title, and you know, print it out. And I print out usually 2 or 3 of them so that I have enough. But then sometimes when I have some left over, I will just put it in my coffee bin and coffee dye that as well. So anytime you have any kind of typing or anything left over, well, of course, don't throw it out. Put that in the bin, and for sure you can use it in some way. Now this is a piece of paper. Well, actually it was a bag, and it came with bread. So something with bread, I wipe it off. It's still pretty well clean, and the back of it was completely white, and the other side of it had some writing on it, so I did away with that. But the white part I used, and I put in the water with coffee dyeing. Usually I like to do coffee dyeing, and sometimes I do tea dyeing and other eco dyeing, but usually I like my coffee a stained look. So on this one was I guess it was folded like this, and maybe this was more on the bottom, and it took on more of the coffee. So I have different shades here that I might need, either something lighter or something darker, more grungier. And you have to be careful though with this kind of paper. It is very thin. It is kind of like the glassine bag or of that type of very light paper, so it does tear easily. So when you take it out, you have to be careful to be handling it really slowly so that it doesn't tear up. But even if it does tear up, well, you can still use it anyways. But anyhow, this is just copy paper that got very well coffee stain, but also took on some other colors, again, from any kind of other picture I might have had in there that let go of some of its color, and it just looks beautiful, and I can use this in all kinds of things as well. This one was some kind of a form. Forms are good. I use forms. Now, first of all, the back turned out really well. Now, this was originally a pink color, as you can still see here. And this took on coffee in most places and left me a little bit of the pink that I can use for something. So I love this piece of paper also because, well, I love pink, purple, those colors. But I have like a more of a mauve here, like a light beige, pinkish beige, and so it's a very different shades on this. So this was some kind of form, and then I can use the lines, of course, because I like lines. I can use the numbers here, and I'm not going to use like the actual, you know, company name or anything. Numbers over here, definitely I'll be using these numbers and so on. So any kind of forms that you happen to bring home because you have to fill out something and maybe you have some extras, then by all means use it. And this was just a, I don't know, a small piece of paper. I think just copy paper happened to be. I do even collect any small pieces of paper because they will tend to grab onto coffee at the edge, and everything seems perfect on this piece of paper. Really, I can just put it in a journal like this and use it. It's beautiful. All the design on it is so intricate and interesting to me. So hopefully other people might find it interesting as well. But to me, that's just something that I'm looking for. This is also a bag. Now this one turned out also where it sits on the bottom, it will pick up more, and then on the top it'll be a little bit less, but it still gives it that crinkly feel and look, even if it's much lighter on this end, and then the edges have picked up really well. So I believe this is another bread bag as well, so I do like to keep those and then use as I can. And well, this one I'm not sure, TQQ, I'm not sure what this was for, taxes or something. Maybe my husband was, that's not his writing, so not my husband, he wasn't writing this. Maybe my daughter, she wrote this, and then I don't know, whatever it was, she didn't need it. I did ask her, and I put it in a tray, and I'll be using these numbers in some way, the letters. It's all good. And then also look at these beautiful lines that the coffee staining gave me. I love things like that, as I said. So in the back too, you can use the back side. Now what happened with this was I happened to, I guess, put this on top of another sheet, and I had a transposition of the same ink because ink will bleed. So that's something actually I'm going to try more. I'm going to maybe write something more of my own, some kind of poem, or I will copy some kind of quotes or something that are, you know, public domain, that are from the 1800s or so, and write them out and then see if I can get this, because what has actually transitioned onto this page, it is backwards, I think, but you can still see it, and I don't mind it that it's backwards, but I just love the way it looks, the way that ink looks over here, because you can tell it's not original, obviously, but it has just this beautiful, beautiful shade of blue on it. And so that's something that could happen in your tray as well. So if you have something that, well, you've been doodling or you've been writing numbers, whatever it's for, if you don't need it anymore, you put it in the tray. Now this is a piece of small notebook. I had a notebook where I had a few pages left over with lines too, and it's perfect. I can put it into the journal just like this and use it, or I can use individual page as well. So very good look on it. As far as the coffee dyeing, very vintage looking. So this is good. Now this one is, looks like somebody wrote a grocery list. That's another thing that you could keep, is the grocery list. This one, well, as you can see, it says shallots, garlic, olive oil, and so on. So somebody did a grocery list and just threw it aside. It was going to be garbage, and I rescued that, and I put it in a tray, and now I can use each word if I want, or just tear, and whatever comes out as far as writing, it's all good. It looks like it was stamped like this, maybe. And the ink just looks vintage already after the coffee dye and so on. So yeah, this is good also. Then I have another envelope here. This one didn't completely unglue or, you know, open up, but it's still good. And so any white envelope that goes in the coffee tray, of course, takes on the different shades. And then sometimes on the bottom of the tray, if it's already been used up, like mine, it has a lot of darker spots on the tray. It's not a new tray. And then also sometimes I put in any rusty nail or any rusty bit that I have found somewhere that somebody doesn't need anymore. I will put it in there too. And then as it sits on top, it lets go of this darker color. So this is possibly what happened there. So this is nicely looking envelope. This is another, this was a newer notebook, and I did buy it for the design around here, because I thought when that goes in the coffee, that will look really good, because you have your your middle area where you can write, and you have the color on the side, and it's a muted color, and it looks really good either in a little notebook or as just a small piece to write on, or even like a label, you know. So any uses on that. Now this is a window envelope with those larger windows, and yeah, I especially like those. I think maybe I already showed you one with the larger envelope. So this one also took on the coffee really well at the edges. Looks really vintage. So even this piece, okay, I don't know if I really want the writing on as far as what size this envelope is. I mean, you could use it, but just this bit here, I will certainly use this somewhere as well. Now this is again the book page. So you have writing on one side, which we're always wanting writing, and of course you can use just any book page and it still looks good, but I just like a little bit more of that crinkly feeling and look. So I do coffee dye book pages as well, and then you get this also at the edges, and that's just perfect for anything more grungy that you're doing. And then this is another one where I think a chapter ended and it gives you a blank page, and it's a perfect journaling page. Now this one turned a little bit darker. That's the same one as I showed you here. Well, they're both quite dark on this side and a little bit lighter on the other. So you can use either one. But the point of using this is it has a shape to it already. You don't have to tear it or cut it in any way. It has enough of a shape that you can you know, fold in half and use it as a page or do different things with that. Now this one is another one that was stuck in that tray that I had forgotten. So it gave me this beautiful, beautiful look here. This is something that might go into my Gothic journals or my wolf journals or something like that. It almost looks like a cave where it's a little bit lighter inside, very mysterious. What could be there? I don't know. And you know, the forest at night, many different things I could use with that. Now this one has actually, I printed out a scene from The Shining, the bat scene, and I was doing that with my son-in-law John, my other YouTube channel, and my other Instagram, which is Blair House Media, and we were doing that scene. It's funny. I don't know if we did a good job, but we tried it anyways. The bat scene on the stairs. I don't know if you're into The Shining, but anyways. So that's it for the papers that I might coffee stain and so on, that I might use in my journal, and hopefully found it a little bit, you know, interesting. And you can now remember, if you're going to throw out that scribble or some typing printout you did, well, don't use pieces of it. You don't have to use the whole thing at once. You know, you don't need to share with the world about some dream you had, but you can use little pieces of it here and there. It's always still useful. So hopefully you'll come back again, and please subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it. Again, it's Rosie at RoseByNameCo. Take care. Bye-bye.